For more than 2 decades, I have written in a diary almost every single day. And guess what? I saved them all. Each week, I will be reading from these archives and getting to know myself from the lens of my 10, 16, 25, and 36-year-old self. We'll explore big topics such as body image, queerness, divorce, addiction, mental health, and friendship. I'll read cringy poems and attempt to find compassion for the painful tenderness of my younger self. Join the drama of me and my guests as we explore our boy-crazy, closeted, angsty selves, one stupid page at a time. Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to another episode. I'm picking up where I left off. I'm somewhere in June 2004. If you listened to the last episode, well, my last episode was actually an interview with my pal JP, which was super fun, and I highly recommend listening to that episode. I've been busy this month. I've been busy with 2 big projects. One is I have released a book into the world. I'm releasing a poem a day for 30 days in April, known as National Poetry Writing Month, but also this is a book that I have been sort of holding in my heart for a couple years. The subject is basically about my best friend Jason and his life-altering car accident he had in 2021 and sort of what happened with me around that and life before and during and now in the aftermath. And a lot of the poems that I wrote during that time are just like they're what got me through. And so I'm releasing that book into the world, and that's been keeping me busy. And then I'm also participating in something called NaPoWriMo, which is, again, National Poetry Writing Month, where you have a goal of writing a poem a day for 30 days. I've written 4 in 10 days. One of them is good. The other 3 are nothing. And I'm enjoying the process and also taking it easy. So, yeah, it's been busy over here, but I'm happy to be sitting in my podcast studio. Happy to be with you all and excited for this episode. So I'm kind of 3/4 of the way through a journal here that runs like summer of 2004 essentially. My last entry is basically, if you listened again to my last episode, I got in a huge fight with my boyfriend because he wanted me to sing a song and I didn't want to, and so he berated me and made me feel horrible, and I cried all night. And I have this one page in big letters that just says, "You always hurt the ones you love." And that really broke my heart. So I'm kind of nervous to see what comes after that, if I'm being honest. I'm nervous to see what comes after that. And also, I don't know. I've got a little bit of like a sick feeling in my stomach about this journal, but I don't know. Let's see where it goes. Thanks for coming along for the ride. All right, this journal is already surprising me. All right, so June 28th, 2004. Dear you, I spent my day at the hospital in Stratford. It's a nice place, clean and friendly, with everything you need, but I hated it there. Mom woke me up at 9, told me that Jenny, that's my older sister, that Jenny got admitted to the hospital last night. Even though I had to go to work, I went with Mom instead. In the car ride up, we bought flowers and balloons. Mom said, "Thank you for coming with me. Jenny will be glad that you're here." All I wanted to do was just see her. We got there and waited and waited and waited. We finally got up to her room, floor 3, room 304. I was so nervous, so scared to see her all hooked up to tubes. I walked in with a very sad look on my face, I hear, but I was so happy to see Jenny, sitting on her bed with color in her cheeks and an actual sound in her voice. "Why are you so sad? I'm not dying." It was good to see her, but I was scared. I just wanted her to be better. We waited until 2:30, spent the day with her, tried to comfort Mom. We left, and it was a happy ending, even though now Jenny seems sick again. She said, maybe I'm just supposed to be this way. The next entry is a couple days later. I say, dear you, the past few days have been a busy and strange and emotional ride. Right now is kind of the time where your life is such a mess and everything in it is too, but the only time you have to try to fix it up a little is used trying to keep yourself sane. That's a lot for a little 15-year-old girl, I would say. Jenny's coming home from the hospital. It was such an ordeal. On Sunday night, I went to Gernt's, and as soon as I could, just wanting to see him, he took me downstairs and asked if I was okay. I said, I'm fine. I'm fine. Just think of how Jenny is right now. He rubbed my back, and we talked to his mom. I was sad, but very happy to see him. Everything was fine. He helped me to stop crying and settle me down a lot. But then I called home, and Mom said Jenny was puking again, and it made me so sad. Mad. It made me so mad. Why the hell don't you take her back to the hospital then? Mom says, she doesn't like it there. Me, oh, well, that's real fucking sensitive of you. I hung up and started bawling and yelling, saying my mom was a pussy and Jenny was gonna die. Gernt actually hugged me and told me he was here for me. I said, don't you dare leave me. If something happens to Jenny, you are all I have left. He immediately got me a ride home. Yesterday, it's hard to read this part. Yesterday, Mom and I went out to the movies and Dairy Queen. We came home and when Genevieve was there, and I hung out with her for a while. I said, don't be mad at me. I'll get better. That's what she said. She said, don't be mad at me. I'll get better. And I said, no, you won't. No one will ever help you. Everyone just says, okay, the hospital is scary. We won't make her go. We'll just let her sit at home and waste away and die. We lied together, and she hugged me and said everything would be okay. I won't leave you, Yoda. I promise I won't leave you all alone. So the day went on, and I went up to Gernt's after hanging out with Jenny for a while, and she went to sleep. Me and Gernt watched Kill Bill. Haha, it was funny. Then we went upstairs for his dad's birthday party. So there's some people's names here, but I know it's his sister and his brother-in-law and their child. We ate and hung out and had some beers. Me and Gernt played with the baby, who talks a lot, and talked to his sister about going to Toronto for a weekend. Then me and Gernt watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Haha. His sister said goodbye, and she gave me a hug and said, take care of your sister, sweetie. Gernt walked me home on a nice night. It was wonderful. I love his family. I love getting back rubs from him, and I love being with him. So much codependency in this, I can almost barely not even stand it. That is wild. Okay, so basically, I'm not surprised by this, these entries. Like, I do remember this. So my sister had an eating disorder that the grown-ups around me just had literally no fucking idea how to deal with it. She had some other, like, pre-existing health concerns also. A lot of different things, like, caused her to be nauseous and, like, to throw up, which obviously is also a symptom of bulimia. And my sister was just kind of, like, generally unwell when I was growing up. She always had something. She had a lot of hospital stays. She had a lot of bouts of, like, mental illness and lots of other illnesses. And so did my mom. So there was a lot of me really trying to be the caretaker and feeling very helpless. And obviously I'm leaning on my boyfriend a lot during this time. And, like, for the most part, he's doing a pretty good job. I'm not sure how we resolved, like, the big fight we had. I don't say. But he's apparently done a decent job of helping to regulate me. But I can tell But also, sidebar, when your girlfriend's dysregulated, don't make her watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's horrifying. But yeah, I can hear like just how scared I am in these entries, and I think it would be interesting to go back and ask like my mom and my sister what they remember about that time, because like it was very obvious that my sister needed to be in treatment for her eating disorder, but like my parents just didn't want to be firm about that. So yeah, I think that hospital stay was probably pretty traumatizing for everyone, but obviously especially my sister. And yeah, I've never asked her about it, but maybe I should. Okay, if I was gonna call this next entry anything, I would call it Yoda smokes weed all day, gives blowjobs, and can't stop being an angsty teenager. July 2nd, 2004. Wednesday night, I went to Gern's. He was waiting outside with a joint, so we smoked that and went inside. This is like super boring, but I'll just read it quickly. We went to his room and we just hung out. We watched Secret Window, and I actually ended up falling asleep on him and strangely woke up right when it was over. We hung out downstairs and then went back to his room. I was really tired around 1. I wanted to fall asleep. Every few seconds I would, but then I wake up. Don't worry, Gert kept me awake all night, winky face. I couldn't do anything because I'm on my period, but he got me going by sucking on my neck and chest and everywhere else. I went down on him, made him go. We stayed up all night laughing and talking. We got up around 1. What? We got up around 1. He was wandering around. He played me guitar naked. I was so surprised when he just stood there in front of me, so comfortable, just naked. I loved it. We made grilled cheese. We went to the video store, got movies and munchies, went back to his house, smoked some bowls of oil, and then decided to come back to my house to get my dope. So we came all the way back here, and the walk was so fun. I love how he likes long walks. They just fly by when I'm with him. We were hot when we got back, so we decided to take a swim. We were standing by the edge threatening to push each other in when I finally just stood up and jumped in. He was so surprised and followed. It was awesome. I can't wait for the next time I get to go swimming together. After our swim, we decided it was time to take a shower. We went in together, him naked and me just in my underwear. I got down on my knees. It actually worked well, and I'm sure he liked it very much. We washed each other with soap, and it was a lot of fun. We got out and smoked my oil and old-ass roaches. I was pretty baked, but I enjoyed it so much with him. It was mellow and carefree. Then we watched Desperado. I enjoyed it very, very much. We laughed and talked and munched out. We were treated to his room for another shower. Oh my God. Just the heat and the wetness and him and kissing and constantly. He was different this time. He kissed me a lot more than usual. It was one of my favorite experiences I have ever had with him. I absolutely loved it and hated that it ended. We fell asleep and woke up. I wish I didn't have to go. I wish I didn't have to go to work today and I could have stayed another day. So yeah, just like in absolute carefree, don't have a job, I do have a job, but like just no responsibilities, and all I get to do is just like spend the entire day with my boyfriend doing teenage shit, and I'm like, I kind of miss that shit. Okay, next page. It's not dated, but I'm assuming it's early July, and I make a list of things to do. Number 1, diet. Honestly, I eat like a fucking pig. I can see myself getting a little chubby. Like today, I ate chili, chips, a burger. Yesterday I had pizza, grilled cheese, candy, pop. I don't exercise, and sometimes I eat when I'm not hungry. So I'm gonna stop tomorrow and exercise. Okay, first of all, delusional. Secondly, I'm 15. Like, don't all 15-year-olds eat like chips and chili and burgers and pizza and candy and whatever? Like, obviously it's good to exercise, it's good to eat healthy, but like, I don't know, it's pretty what's the word? I just think it's I just think it's sad, I think. I just feel sad for myself. 2 on my list of things to do. Be financially secure. I was thinking I want to buy my own car. Not have mom buy one and tell me where or when I can drive it. I want to be able to move out if I have to. But I buy stupid things and I take too much time off work, so no more of that either. I'm only going to use my bank card to put my paychecks in. Again, kind of delulu. Oh, that's the only 2. Those are the only 2 things on my to-do list. Be skinny and be rich. Classic. Hey, I want to talk to you about an awesome organization that I've been volunteering with for a couple of months. Exhale Pro Voice. It's estimated that about 1 in 4 people with uteruses will get an abortion in their lives, but we know that number is actually closer to 1 in 3. People can say a lot of things about what abortion is, but the one thing that it isn't is rare. People from all over North America access this free, confidential text line for after-abortion care and support. I've been a volunteer counselor for about 4 months, and I've met so many amazing people in my time there. It's a completely non-judgmental space for folks who have had or who will need abortions to go for resources, conversation, love, and support. We're here to listen on the line, and you can text us anytime at 617-749-2948. Again, that's Exhale Pro Voice, 617-749-2948. Volunteers are on the line weekdays from 6 p.m. to midnight, that's Eastern Standard Time, as well as Saturdays and Sundays from 3 to 9. Again, the number to text is 617-749-2948. This could be if you are someone who's struggling because you've recently had an abortion, someone who maybe might need an abortion in the near future and have questions. Maybe you're someone who loves someone who's really having a hard time after their abortion. Either way, we're here for you. 617-749-2948. Exhale Pro Voice. Text us. We're here. All right. So, July 3rd, I say yesterday started when I got home from work. Jay called. You guys all remember Jay from previous episodes. Jay called, said he had something to tell me. Then he informs me that the dreams he told me about and has been talking to me about pretty intensely for the past year were lies. It hurt hearing that. I told him I had nothing to say to him and hung up. However, I went over later to talk to him. It was normal-ish there. We talked a little, and I told him I was mad and didn't know if I could trust him. He said, I just thought that if I told you they weren't real, they would go away. Me. The world doesn't work that way, Jay. You can't just make something go away by pretending it's not there. He apologized and everything went back to normal. We played cards, ate peanut butter crackers, watched TV, and just laughed. We hugged when I left, and in a way, I guess it was goodbye. We never hang out anymore, not just me and Jay, but just everyone. No one really ever goes there anymore, and I think I'm the only one who misses it, and I do, terribly. I miss standing outside his house late at night and leaning up against his house and just thinking of my relationship with Lou, how we exchanged stories and how he would talk to me more than anyone else. And with A, the history, the lies, the guilt, the goodbyes. With Jer, how close we were as kids and how it never changed even when everything else did. My friendships with Bucket, how people said we were made for each other because of how we roughhoused and hung out for hours on end. Back then, I didn't know where I'd sleep on a Friday or Saturday night. I'd find a bed either next to Jay or to someone or on a couch. Either that or I couldn't sleep at all. I didn't think about sex. I didn't want love. I didn't even need anybody like I need Gert because the relationships I had with everyone else were big enough. I was lonely at times, yes, but I was also very fulfilled, happy, always with someone, even if the one by my side was someone I had only known for a while, or if it was Jen or Stitch or even Spike. They were still someone new, always a new relationship, a new feeling of helping someone or making someone laugh. I love my boys. I always will. I miss our togetherness. These days, we're all scattered and it's hard to say who hates who. I just miss the Friday and Saturdays of going to Jay's and getting high and just finding something to do with someone, no matter what it is. I miss that. Sighs. I guess I just didn't expect us to all fall apart so quickly. I worry about Jay a lot these days. I don't really care that I missed out on hanging out with some of the other guys last night because I think I made Jay feel better. Yeah, so, you've heard from journals before that I had this, big group of friends, and we would always have house parties, every single night at my friend's house, and I don't know if everybody actually got farther away from each other because it felt like it for me because I was in a relationship and I kind of stopped hanging out with them, but it's obvious to me that I feel like I lost them in ways. And I guess, that's kind of followed up. A couple days later, I write, I love being with Gert, I really do, but lately I've been thinking, I need to do things on my own. I've always been that way. When my mother talks about me from when I was young, she loves to tell me the story of how I rode my bike to the village all by myself before my older sister did, and how I learned to tie my shoes with no help, and how my first word was self. And how that word gradually turned into my favorite phrase. I want to do this by myself. It's just who I am, independent. And it's not like I'm not grateful for having Gert by my side, because I am. There are a lot of things that have happened in the last 6 or 7 months that I probably wouldn't have been able to get through by myself. I love the fact that I don't have to be alone through the hard stuff and have someone to be here and make memories with during the good times. I wouldn't want it any other way. But sometimes I just think about the future. What happens if I decide to go off to college or university? I definitely won't be living at home by then, and I don't know how okay Gert would be with me living farther away. I get the feeling that I'd feel so bad about leaving him, I'd ask him to come with me, and that would screw up the plans I've had for myself since I was 10 or 11. I've always wanted to be by myself and experience life on my own. It has always scared the shit out of my mom how much I wanted to be alone. And even further into the future, I've been thinking about that too. I mean, if I was up in 10 or 15 years, I don't understand the sentence. If I was up in 10 or 15 years and I am still with Gert, well, it'd be a dream come true. In fact, I've had a dream about it before, but I'm just worried that, if I wake up. Okay, let me try this again. And even further into the future, I've been thinking about that too. I mean, if I wake up in 10 or 15 years and I'm still with Gert, well, it'd be a dream come true. In fact, I've had a dream about that before, but I'm just worried that I'll wake up in 10 or 15 years and say to myself, oh my God, I've been with the same person for the last decade of my life. I haven't met anyone new, had any new relationships or new experiences. And worst of all, I'm scared that I'll say to myself, I don't even know how to be on my own anymore. It's just weird to think of the last time I was by myself. I mean, even for a day. I haven't had a single day to myself since I met Gert. And it's not like I need time away from him or anything like that, because I simply love spending time with him. But I just wonder what happens when I do need time to myself. How easy will it be then? So if that's not foreshadowing for the rest of my life, I don't know what is. The fact of the matter is obviously Gert and I broke up. So, and then this whole independence thing has plagued me. That's not even the right word, has just been with me for every relationship I've had, long or short, serious or casual. I've always had the severe desire for doing some of life alone. It comes up now. It comes up a lot now. And it's interesting. I did know that I've always felt that way. I just didn't know that I knew how to articulate it back then. But it's interesting that I felt like I could articulate it. Okay, the next few entries, I'm hanging out with, you know who, I'm hanging out with Garnt a lot. And I'm also getting ready to spend some time with Katie for her birthday. I don't think I've mentioned Katie in this journal at all, but I'm getting ready to spend some time with Katie for her birthday. So I start this entry with you. It's been a weird few days. On Tuesday, I worked and then went to Garnt's house after work because nobody was home. It was fun. When I got home, I wrapped Katie's presents. On Wednesday, I was up at 10:30, showered, and walked to Garnt's in my green dress. As soon as I got there, I went to his basement, and we did it. It was long, good, weird. So I made my way to Katie's. We hugged, and she opened her presents. I think she liked them a lot. I wonder what I got her. So curious. We went for a walk. I felt pretty in my little green dress. We went to George's for a milkshake. That's the name of the diner from our hometown. We went to George's for a milkshake and then made an unplanned trip to Roancroft. Not sure what that is. We spent close to an hour in there. Good way to pass the time. I guess it's a store. Then we went to Jason's, and he came back to her house after a while to hang out. We went for dinner with Kelsey and Kathy. That's Katie's mom and sister. And Katie and I laughed so much the whole time. We went back to her house and hung out in her room and read through all the old notes we've sent and talked about how things change. It was a great night, and I hope she had fun on her birthday. Then I went over to Garnt's and hung out with him for a while, or for only an hour or so. So the next thing says, on Thursday I worked and then had Garnt over. So basically, I realized that I'm neglecting my friends and craving some time outside of my relationship with Garnt, but I can't seem to every single day it's just filled with him and I spending time together. We're bickering a bit. There's one part where I say, on Thursday I worked and then had Garnt over. I met him halfway, and I think I was much happier to see him than he was to see me. It sucked having that rejection feeling because it's been so long since I've had it, but he made it better. We watched Pirates of the Caribbean downstairs. It was different but fun. On Friday, I didn't see Garnt all day. But then it says, and then I got a ride to Garnt's. Oh my God, it's crazy. I'm such an independent person now, and one of my biggest values is just time. I hate when people waste my time. I don't like giving away my time. I'm very mindful about my time. And knowing that I gave this boy all of my time is just I don't know. It's just a weird, it's like seeing a version of yourself that you just don't recognize, and you almost can't believe it. I don't know. Well, my independent nature is about to put a wrench in the relationship. July 18th. Things are weird today, for lack of a better word. They're bad, very uneasy. I feel like I'm on the verge of puking just thinking about last night. It was a good night. I'll admit that. I had a lot of laughs and the vibe was generally good for a long time. I started drinking at 9. Had 3 coolers and 2 shots. Okay, that's like a fucking lot for a 15-year-old. Then we went to the trailer at 11. It was different because B and A were there. We'll just name them that. They are people who were kind of friends of my sister's, and I said, I sat next to Gurnt on the couch. We had fun together. Nothing big, just talked, and he told me he had a surprise for me later. It was nice, everyone just hanging out. Soon, Genevieve, Bucket, and Gurnt left to go to Fraser's. That was my sister's boyfriend. I stayed with Lou to help take care of B and A, who had chugged a 26er of Wisers and were puking a lot. It was kind of fun, though. Lou and I talked from across the lawn as we each took care of either B or A and just reminisced. Soon, him and I agreed to go for a walk. It was fun because I was getting drunk since Lou gave me a few beers. We decided to sit on the wall outside the country cupboard. It's like another kind of diner place where we sat last summer. And, what does that say? Where we sat last summer and talked when we split a 40 of Jack Daniels. We talked of that night and other nights. I fucking really missed Lou. I hated that we eventually decided to go back to the trailer because I was having such a good time. It was worth going back because when we got there, him and me and Bucket and Jay kicked a balloon around for close to an hour. Yeah, fun. I was laughing so hard and was having so much fun tackling Bucket and just running around that I didn't really notice Gurnt leaving. Once I noticed he left, I decided I should go. But me, Lou, and Bucket ended up sitting out front and just chilled for another hour or so. They eventually walked me to Gurnt's, and the walk there was also so fun. So basically, I'm at a party. I'm not even at a party. I'm just like out for a night, and like my boyfriend's there, and I'm having fun with my friends, and he's like butthurt about it. So they eventually walked me to Gurnt's house. Gurnt came to the door and looked really unhappy. I was so drunk. All I remember about the night after that was going inside after a sad goodbye to Bucket and Lou, and then sitting on the edge of Gurnt's bed and waking up at 10:30 without him there. He ended up going downstairs to sleep, so we just sat in silence and I could only take that for less than 5 minutes and then got up and left. I sat at the park for a while thinking about the night. I didn't regret staying out so late without Gurnt. In fact, I regretted going back to his house at all. I ended up getting hungry and went to George's, again, the diner. I saw, we'll call him A. I saw A on the walk, and he decided to come with. It was normal, kind of a Sunday morning tradition. So today I went to work, and it was just me and Kyle. I felt hungover and tired and really, really sad. I was thinking bad thoughts about me and Gurnt breaking up. So first of all, I also worked at a fucking chicken farm, so I cannot imagine doing that hungover. I came home and ate and then basically called Gurnt, left a message to which he returned half an hour later. He sounded less mad than I thought. He asked me what I was doing, and I said nothing, and he said, well, do you want to hang out? And I said, perhaps, if you want to hang out with me. I walked there and honestly had a vision of us breaking up very strongly in my mind. However, when I got to his house, he looked happy to see me, and he even gave me a hug and kind of a kiss. We went downstairs and talked about the night. I said, I'm a little confused about what I actually did wrong. He said, it just really hurt to see you and Bucket have so much fun like that. I was surprised to hear that's why he was mad. We talked about it for a while, and I got upset. He looked at me for a long time and then hugged me and said, I can't stand to see you cry. We talked, both apologized, me for treating him shitty last night and him for treating me shitty this morning. We talked for a long time until I finally said, Gurnt, I love you so much. I'd lose everything before I lost you. But I've already lost so many people in my life. It's not your fault. Please never think that. I devote my time to you because I like to be with you so much, but I simply cannot lose Bucket or Lou or Jer because they were there for me when a lot of people weren't, and they mean a lot to me. He told me he understood, and he smiled and kissed me. It was a nice kiss, very reassuring. We ended up stopping, and I said, hey, remember our first kiss? He said, yeah, that night we stayed at Jay's. We were both so lonely then. It was a great fun night after that. He gave me my surprise 4 beautiful pictures that I'm obsessed with. I love him. Okay, you know what? In the grand scheme of like all of the arguments that he and I had over the years, I'm like, this one is actually kind of not that bad because we stonewalled each other and like it wasn't great. But then we both regulated and then like got together and had a talk about it and both apologized. So I'm like, on the grand scheme of things, I'm like, maybe this one wasn't that bad. I don't know. It's honestly, it's hard to tell you guys. I honestly don't know. This is the best beginning to any journal that's ever journaled. July 22nd. Yesterday would have been so perfect except for one bad thing. Underlined. Gernt's mom caught me and Gernt having sex. Like, haven't we already written this story? Do you guys not remember the story of like him and I sneaking into the crawl space and his dad catching us? Now we need his mom to catch us, apparently. Sounds like a humorous situation, and I guess in a way it was, but for the most part, this is really gonna fuck stuff up. I went over to Gern's after work. I always feel bad about leaving Jenny every day, but I bought taco shells and went over, okay? Gerndt and I hung out, wrestled, watched a little TV, then we made tacos for his family. Well, all I did was cut up the vegetables. Heh. We ate and it was fun. Me, his dad, and his mom had some good laughs. Then me and Gernt went out for a walk. We went to the park. Across from Arlene's to meet Dave. We smoked 4 bowls. Made jokes. Okay. Me and Gernt went back to his house, and since no one was home, we started to have sex. We were almost done when we hear his mom say from the top of the stairs, "Can you two put your clothes back on?" We panicked and left in a hurry. I was upset. I cried a little. Gernt told me it would all be okay. We walked to my house and basically just watched some TV and then slept on the floor downstairs. It was fun. Right before we fell asleep, he initiated some stuff, but I was too in my head. This morning was nice. I was happy to wake up and see his face. Oh my God. Like, what a bunch of brats. Holy. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened after that. Like, obviously I still was with him for a while, and I'm sure I still had like moments where I had to interact with his parents, but at this point both of his parents have walked in on us. They probably just think that like all we do is fuck, because all we do is fuck. And like I think I said in an episode before, his parents probably still talk about me. I'm like a legendary horn dog in their minds, which is absolutely hilarious. Anyways, next day, July 22nd, late. I just got home from Hawk Rocks the Park day 1. Okay, backstory here. If you're not from London, Ontario. The Hawk was a radio station that played only classic rock, and they were everyone's favorite. And they put on this amazing concert called Hawk Rocks the Park, and it was this like 4-day outdoor festival. Technically, it's still a festival, even though the Hawk doesn't exist anymore, and it's like not classic rock anymore. But the first year it was on was like the absolute best. Some of my favorite summer memories from my youth happened at this festival, and also got into lots and lots of trouble. So I just got home from Hawk Rocks the Park day 1. I'm exhausted, but really, really energized. It was an absolutely amazing day, even though there were some low points. So we picked up Gernt and then met up with a bunch of people. Kelly, Rocco, Bucket, Fraser, and Jer, and Al, and Mandy later. The park was semi-empty, so we got seats incredibly close to the stage. Waiting around for hours before the music started was for sure the worst part. I was tired and sweating and impatient. It got better when the Voodoo Lounge came on, and even though they weren't that great, Then Lighthouse came on. Sunny days, sunny days. Hey, the only part was that halfway through it started to pour, but it turned out to be fun. Bachman was amazing. It was so, so cool. They fucking rocked out. Guys, I am talking about Bachman Turner Overdrive in the year 2004. That's insane. Everyone was in such a good mood. Everyone was laughing and really impressed. It was so much fun. I was screaming and hooting and hollering and jumping and having a blast. I cannot wait for tomorrow. Okay, that's one day. The next day, I write in huge letters. I write over the course of how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages in huge letters. I say, I hate you, fucking piece of shit book. All writing has ever done to me is shit. I hate you so much. Stupid fuck. You made me lose the only thing in my life I give a shit about. You made my life almost end. May as well be over. That's how I feel. I really do feel that way. I feel awful, worse than I ever have about anything because of a stupid thing I wrote that doesn't fucking mean a thing. Nothing I write meant anything. It's all bullshit. It's all from my mind, not from my heart. The only thing that's ever in my heart is Gert. And I guess I'm just going to have to get used to being alone because he will never, ever trust me again. I don't blame him. This sucks because I miss him so much, and it hasn't even been a day. It hasn't even been half a day, and I feel so empty knowing that he's hurting right now because of me. I want to die. Let's just take a little break there. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. Gert read my diary. I completely forgot about this, probably because this was probably so traumatic for me that I have blocked it out. But here it is, July 25th. In the morning, Gert decided to read my journal. Fucker. This one. It was going okay at first because he read the entries of how much I loved him. However, he got to a few of the not so good ones. I basically begged him to stop reading. He did and said, "Now I know how you really feel. I guess I'll leave you alone now." I asked why, and I told him not to go, but he said, "No, I can see you don't want me in your life." He left. I followed. We fought. This is like us back and forth. So Gert says, "Is this your way of breaking up with me?" Me, in tears. "What? No." Gert, "No, Yoda. All that shit. I don't want to stand in your way, so I need to be alone." Me. "Please don't walk away from me." Gert, "I need to be alone for a very long time." I ran home in tears and just collapsed. I thought it was really over. I sat and cried for a long time until I decided to go see him. Okay, so did not respect his boundary of needing to be alone. I walked up to his house, only half knowing what I'd say. Me. "I know you said you don't want to see me, but can we please talk?" Gert. "Yeah, what do you have to say?" Me. I'm really sorry. I don't know what I was thinking writing those things." Gert. "They meant something." Me. "Yeah, my freedom means something to me." Me. "I don't want to spend my life without you, Gert. I really don't. But I don't want to spend my life hurting you every day either." Gert. "Come on now." I was actually surprised he took me back. "You know I love you, Yoda. You know I do." I really just couldn't believe how close I was to losing him there for a second. He wrote me a note that I never got to read that I can't keep wondering about. Was he really ready to say goodbye? I'm so glad he didn't. We went to the concert, day 2. The honeymoon suite was meh. We wandered around. April wine was wicked. I really like sitting on Gurnt's lap, Gurnt bopping around. Okay, so basically, like, got over that. Oh, that's Steppenwolf play. That's fun. I never want to hurt Gert again. I never want him to feel anything but good because I love him. I do. That's a lot. I basically, I'm recognizing I'm only like a month into the summer, by the way, and like a lot's happened. I don't know. This makes me feel really angry, and also really aware that I had a very defined disorganized attachment with this boy. It's hard to admit that I was more disorganized than anything else. But yeah, I guess that's just how it is. Well, just when I thought I couldn't get any more dramatic. Okay, a bit later in August, so there's a moment where Gurnt goes away with his family for the weekend, and I can't go because I have a family reunion to go to. And I know that I'm excited that I'm gonna have the weekend by myself, like essentially boyfriendless, not to get into any antics, but just to have some freedom. And so August 15th, I have this amazing night with my friends. I play pool. We all go to the park. We all get drunk in the park. And there's this community center, and we went up on the roof, and there's a guy there who his name is Monk. I don't remember him. I don't know who he is or was or what he looks like or anything, but I just say, like, me and Monk hotboxed event on the roof, whatever that means. And yeah, we're just out all night smoking and drinking. I said we all decided to go on the community center roof. We danced. It was really fun. Monk and I hotboxed the vent up there. We were all on our way somewhere. Lou walked way ahead of us. And then I got a ride home from someone. Oh, I came home and my mind was doing circles. I was so drunk and just fucked. I came inside and puked. So basically, had a really fun night, drank a lot, threw up. The next day, I see Gurnt. We reconnect, we have sex. Afterwards, we talked about our weekends. I told him about how I had a smoke and about Em giving me a ride home. Sounds like you had fun, he said. And he seems kind of mad, so in turn, I just got sad. He said, Yoda, I'm a jealous guy. That's just who I am, and I'm not going to change. He continues to be, like, really mad at me for several hours. I say from 11:30 to about 2, it didn't go well. I cried. I was just so frustrated. Then he fingered me in the living room, and it was all good. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where, like, we're always fighting, and the fights, like, never last long. And when it's good, it's so good. And when it's bad, it's so bad. Anyways, a couple days later, I get a call from Gurnt. So it says August 18th. I got a call from Gurnt at 7 telling me he feels cheated on and needs to talk to me. So we met halfway, and first thing he asked me is, did you kiss him? I was like, who? And he told me that his friends all told him that I was making out with Monk under the vent. Me. Oh my God, I knew I was going to get questioned. I can't go out by myself for one Saturday without being questioned, can I? You don't trust me at all, do you? He said, no, I don't. So I stormed off. I was grabbing at my hair and bawling. If it's hysterical, it's historical. Just saying. I had no idea where Gurnt disappeared to, so I walked to the village in tears. I saw his friend and walked right up to him and asked him to tell me what the fuck he said to Gurnt. He's so full of shit. I threw a piece of paper I had in my hand at him and said, thanks a lot, and stormed away. Not long after, I walked past Jay's in tears. He followed me and eventually I stopped and sat down and vented. I said, I'm so sick of everyone talking shit about me. Who? I told Jay what was going on, and I said, he looked concerned. Are you going to be okay? Me. No, I'm not. I gave up so many friends so that Gert would be happier, and it was pointless. Jay. No, it wasn't. Me. Yes, it was, because he doesn't even trust me for no reason. Jay. I think you just have to explain it to him. Me. I'm sick of explaining myself after every Saturday. Jay. Well, Yoda, if it's not worth it. Me. That's the thing. It's that I really care about him and I don't want to lose him, but I don't want to be with someone who doesn't trust me. I walked to the store, and on the way I saw Gert at the park across from the store. So I went to go see him. He sat on the bench and said, I don't really have anything to say to you. I should have left then, I guess, but instead I sat down and basically said it sucked to hear from several different people that I was getting chummy with some guy. I told him I didn't know the guy was trying to get chummy with me. We argued for a little while. It hurt so much. I hated that this was the first time I cried in front of him. And he didn't jump up and apologize. So I did. I did something I guess I never ever thought I would do. I got down on my knees and pressed my forehead to his arm and said, I'm so sorry you got hurt over this. I should have told you, but I didn't really think it meant anything. I swear I didn't. Please don't leave me, please. He said, get back on the bench. I'm an idiot. Things were looking up. He told me he was a really bad person, but I just hugged him and kissed his face and told him, you're not. I listed everything I could think of. He said, I should be dead. And I said, no, you should be with me. He cried a little, and once I got back up on the bench, he kissed me, and I whispered, I really do love you, Yoda. So we walked back to his house, holding hands pretty much in silence. Yeah, I, could my fucking life be any more dramatic? There's a part of me that finds this, there's a very, very, very small part of me that finds this very endearing, but most of me is just Yoda, this is so incredibly toxic. And I'm just I don't understand why none of the grown-ups are doing anything. His parents, my my friends, I don't know. It's such an adult situation. And like I said, I'm 16. And yeah, it's just a lot. This journal. All right, we are nearing the end of this journal, and it actually starts very similar, ends very similar to how it started, with something about my sister. So I'm going to read this one. This is from the end of August. I'll start with when I woke up. It was early. I'm used to not being awake until noon, but sleeping in is awesome. Jenny left for camping. I wish I could just be with her while she's gone. Maybe she wouldn't be so lonely if I was around. I guess that's just nothing but a nice thought, though. I wrote her a note about how I'm scared for our futures, how I don't want to lose her. And then in the journal, I put her response. She wrote me a letter back. It says, Hi, Yodi. I got your stoned ramblings. You don't have to worry about us, you and me. We'll be best friends always, even if distance grows between us for a while. People always find their way back to the ones they love. I wouldn't let you go, Yoda. And don't worry about people you've let go of or who let go of you. Sometimes people need to change to grow. People who really care about other people don't stop them from growing, even if it means growing away from them. It's okay. And maybe you and Gert will be like that. That's not a crime. No one said you had to be with him forever, and it's okay if you don't expect it or want it to be forever either. If Gert is really your person, or really isn't your person, then you'll find someone else who is someday when you're ready. Being lonely isn't something to be ashamed of. Neither is staying with someone only because you're lonely. It's what people do. But you need to know that loneliness is a human condition. Loneliness makes us who we are, because it's nice when you're not lonely anymore. I love you, and I love that you're happy for me very, very much. We'll always be together, even if we aren't. I love you always and forever. I think I'll end there. There's a couple more pages of this journal, but I want to get into the next one because this one has been such a bumpy ride. I don't anticipate the next one's going to be less of a bumpy ride. I believe that Gert and I date for another year because we break up in the summer, and I think we have another year together, and I honestly, I'm like, what could happen in this summer? Or what could happen in this year? What have we got for the next year? I'm going to be reading the next journal to you soon, probably in the next couple weeks, but take good care when you're listening to this one. Holy guacamole, what a doozy. I can tell you that actually, I will give a hint and say that the next journal, I'm not sure exactly when, but definitely is when I graduate from smoking pot to doing hard drugs. I'm not sure when, but it's definitely coming up, and I'm interested to read that because it was a big turning point in my life. So thank you so much for listening. If you love the episode and you want to work with me or want to find out more about what it's like to work with me, I would love, love, love to talk to you. I help writers achieve their writing goals every single day. You can find more of me and my work at www.doulaofwords.com. Looking forward to the next episode. Thanks so much for being here, big